I remember Clint Eastwood told Eli Wallach while they were doing The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, he said, stay away from all the explosions and don't let them do everything. And even though Clint's very physical, even today. Is there any advice you could give perhaps to an actor? I mean, when you were younger, you were ready to, you know, all piss and vinegar, ready to go and everything.
You really got to trust the special effects guys. I remember early on doing a Western with Sammy Davis, and I was by a wagon. And I got, they were letting off these squibs. And what they didn't know is, I had turned my back and this wagon goes off and the shards of wood just riddled down my back and across my neck.
Wow.
Thank God I wasn't looking, or it would have taken my eyes out.
Were you ever put in a situation where it was dangerous? I know it's uncomfortable.
Oh, heck yeah, man. When I did the pirate movie, I had to do this, sword fighting. So, like I said, the craft is, I had to take fencing for like 3-4 months before we even shot the film. A Night in Heaven, I played a male stripper, and John Avildsen, who won the Academy Award for Rocky, was directing it. He wanted me to look like Rocky. I had to work out for like 3-4 months ahead of that movie on a daily basis so that I was as ripped up as you could possibly imagine. I mean, you hear about actors who starve themselves, who get, fat, who shave their heads. I mean, you have to be able to go places that, you would never want to go in your entire life. I mean, you would never want to go there, but you have to be open to be able to step into that place, but be able to step out of that.
During the time of the 60s, for women of color, there was no women of color for stunt at all. As a matter of fact, women doing their own stunts or women doing leading roles action-wise, it didn't really exist at all. So the pioneering time of women, period, across the board, to be doing action roles and leading action roles was all brand new.
Well, you've done stunts yourself. I've seen as a character.
I did.
I've seen you on film actually doing stunts.
Yes, because I had no choice.
That was actually you, of course, that jumped out of the hotel that got thrown.
Actually, it was Mr. Smart Aleck.
Was it really you?
Yes, it was.
Wow. How far?
That was done in 3 different takes.
Wow.
Out the window, the first 3 feet onto a mattress, me.
Wow.
Over to the International Hotel, whole different setup. Big 10-foot platform that they built specifically for this scene. Nice, big, sturdy, 6-foot stuntman. Me standing on his shoulders. 16 feet, a very long way to fall.
That's a long fall.
Didn't like it.
Wow, and your little legs were going down the thing. And,
They did throw a mannequin, a nice soft dummy out the window, so a portion of that was an inanimate object, but that was me.
I was in South Africa once, and there was some explosions going off, and I was doing a film called White Ghost. Did fairly well on DVD, and I got disoriented because, as you know, anyone that's been in the business, when they bury these black powder mortars in the ground, and there's a lot of clay that goes off, and the whole village was on fire, and I got disoriented, and I was going to get severely burned and hurt, and our stunt coordinator, who was very astute, jumped in and pulled me out. That was a time I've had some close calls in some helicopters. I almost broke my hip on a stunt I was doing, which I don't do anymore because I shut down a crew for a week. And I cost a good friend of mine who's producing, I cost him a lot of money. And I just made an agreement that I would never do that again. There's plenty of good stuntmen who do that way better than me.
what percentage of films do you do your own stunts in?
It's probably about 95%. There's a great guy who's worked with me for years named Dave Rowden, and when it's something really life-threatening, in the measure, they'll insist that he'll do it, and I'm happy to do it. For so many years, I was always, there was always a fight or something. You end up doing those things anyway, but they, maybe a high fall or something like that, and Dave did a ratchet job that I did in Last Man Standing where they blew him out the window. I'm so glad he did that because I didn't want to, because it kind of got messed up and he ended up across the street.
If you're not comfortable, you get on a set and you're in that situation, and in some of these lower budget films that actors tend to do these days for the web and whatnot, you might be asked to be put into a compromising situation in that regard, safety-wise. And I would say if you feel a shred of uncertainty about it, that you shouldn't do it. And an actor has the right to speak up and say, you know what, I'm not comfortable doing this, and don't be pressured into doing it. You don't have to do it.